Hasbro may have seriously disrespected Kurt Wagner with his new Marvel Legends Uncanny Spider-Man, and today I'm breaking down exactly where the love is missing for one of the most beloved X-Men of all time. We're putting this brand new mold to the ultimate test. Does it actually beat X-Men 97 Nightcrawler, the Uncanny X-Force version, or the classic Wendigo Wave? After 3 releases with the same collector complaints, did Hasbro finally listen? Or are we just getting the same old problems in a new costume? Let's find out. Unfortunately, it's another big X. Not X for X-Men, but X for wrong. The tail is wrong. Collectors have been asking for a bendy wired tail for Nightcrawler for years or decades. We know Hasbro has the tech. They gave us excellent bendy wired accessories with Retro Lizard and the No Way Home Doc Ock. Yet, they still held back here, even though the torso sculpt is brand new. Articulation-wise, it keeps the same range of motion as the older Marvel Legends Nightcrawler bodies, with a little improvement. His arm can articulate better because his iconic classic style circus costume with red overlay, the one that gives him those pointy, sharp shoulders, are now gone. The reason why there was a change of costume for Nightcrawler is this was designed to hide the fact that Kurt Wagner is a mutant during a time when the mutants were being actively hunted by the Stark Sentinels. Instead of Peter Parker's traditional red and blue, this version uses Kurt's classic red and black color scheme. And honestly, those are already iconic Spider-Man colors. Just look at Miles Morales. So it works surprisingly well. The painted on, not sculpted, red spider logo on his chest even references his original circus costume with that inverted triangle shape. In the comments below, let me know, does this costume actually help Kurt hide his secret identity? In the comics, people were already calling him Devil Spider, which makes total sense when you look at the ears and tail. Hasbro did a solid job sculpting those signature elf ears onto the mask head, complete with those wide Spider-Man white eyes. I wish he had an alternate glowing eyes, just like the comic books. Later, I'll discuss why his eyes needs to be glowing. The tail, though, is still the same old sculpt from previous Marvel Legends Nightcrawler figures. It's now black with a red spray painted tip. No bendy wire. Yet you can still pose him holding his pirate sword, recreating that scene in X-Men 97 where he says, 9 reasons why. And speaking of X-Men 97, one of the most emotional episodes on that series was Bright Eyes. That was peak X-Men 97. The Sentinel attack on the mutant sanctuary mirrored what was happening in the comic books during the fall of X. At the Hellfire Gala, Nimrod and Orchis wiped out Krakoans. This third annual Hellfire Gala is what X-Men comic fans now call the Hellfire Gala Massacre. The event forced mutants into hiding, and that's when Nightcrawler fled to New York and took on the identity of the Uncanny Spider-Man. Kurt didn't just choose the name randomly. Besides being close friends with Peter Parker, he adopted the Spider-Man mantle because he wanted to rediscover the joy of being a hero again. And honestly, Nightcrawler becoming Spider-Man makes perfect sense. Both characters are built on hope, compassion, and responsibility. However, the Uncanny Spider-Man is almost a true Spider-Man figure, except for one thing, the torso articulation. Without his usual red shoulder overlay, Hasbro had the perfect opportunity to give him an upper torso swivel and ab crunch combo. That would have elevated his articulation to a true Spider-Man level. As a highly acrobatic character, he absolutely deserves that range of motion. But Hasbro clearly disrespects him by sticking him with this outdated articulation. But that's not the only disrespectful thing that Hasbro did. There is something even worse, and we're getting into it shortly. Let's talk about the engineering here. The arms and legs are reused from the X-Men 97 Nightcrawler, meaning the glove and boot cups are sculpted on. They're not just painted on. For accessories, he comes with 3 finger hands and 3 toe feet, which are now in black plastic instead of the usual white plastic. You get a pair of closed fist hands, just like X-Men 97 Nightcrawler, and a pair of expressive open palm hands, similar to both X-Men 97 and Wendigo Wave Nightcrawler. Those 4 hands can hinge forward and back. The 5th hand is the weapon holding hand, something the X-Men 97 version lacks, but the Wendigo Wave Nightcrawler has this one. This recipe of 5 hands isn't new. It's the exact same set that came with the recent Uncanny X-Force Nightcrawler. While the weapon holding hand is the only one with a vertical hinge for proper sword posing, the fit is terrible. The sword handle is actually too thick for this old hand. You have to pry the fingers open just to get it in there. That's because this isn't his sword. This isn't the Hopesword. In the comics, the Hopesword is a glowing, ethereal blade of whitish blue flame, the literal manifestation of Kurt's soul. In Legion of X number 10, his own adoptive mother, sorceress Margali Sardos, betrayed him to Orchis and ripped the spark, his famous optimism, right out of his chest to forge this weapon. Because Kurt once carried Magic's soul sword inside his body, his spirit has already a mold for the blade, and his fate filled it. When you see him as Uncanny Spider-Man, he is literally wielding his fate to survive the fall of X. By giving us a generic sword instead of a translucent soul blade, Hasbro didn't just get the color wrong, they disrespected the entire meaning of the character's journey. Most collectors might not notice, and clearly Hasbro didn't either. I know he is a fictional character and this is just a plastic without a soul. But these small figures and these beloved characters bring sparks of joy to us. If these superheroes and the X-Men mean nothing, then why would people be lining up in cinemas or getting hyped for Avengers Doomsday? Details matters. Another detail about the Hopesword is it does not cut like a physical sword. It is non-lethal. Remember, this is Kurt's soul. It's a projection of his will. He also comes with a brand new accessory which we should celebrate. Or not? His BAMF effect. The very first. The mold is nicely sculpted and uses translucent plastic. But to make the purple color look more saturated and solid, Hasbro painted the interior of the shell with white. It's the same technique they used for the Gamerverse 2-pack Punisher and Nick Fury blast accessory. In the comments below, let me know, are you happy with the BAMF effect that Hasbro gave us? Is it actually large enough? In my opinion, it's a perfect size for the X-Baby's Nightcrawler. But for an adult-sized Kurt Wagner, the small scale makes it look like a BAMF right before it disappears, just as it starts to shrink into thin air. As always, we have to respect that Hasbro works within a budget. It's probably not reasonable for me to expect a massive deluxe BAMF effect. That would likely be reserved for big dollar figures like the Marvel Legends Maximum Series release, maybe a deluxe Nightcrawler figure, or even a HasLab. However, what if Hasbro had given us a 2D BAMF effect instead of this 3D sculpt? Think about Havok's power effects. Those are large and visually striking. They could have included a stand for it. I wouldn't even mind if they reused the 20th anniversary Marvel Legends stands, just as long as the BAMF isn't a cardboard. This BAMF is a nice touch, but it still feels a little lacking. Next up, as you would expect, are head swaps between Nightcrawlers and proof of how irresistible Nightcrawler is in the Uncanny Spider-Man uniform. If you found this review useful, hope you give it a hype, a like, subscribe to my channel, and share this with your friends. For places where the figures in this review might still be available, I left some links in the description below.
I'm Tigerknight!
As you seen a while ago, this is not something new. The X-Men 97 Nightcrawler head on the Uncanny Spider-Man figure. But something new for me is Kurt not only took the Spider-Man title, he also took one of Spider-Man's ladies, Silver Sable. The elf is so charming, even when Sable was hunting him down, Kurt showed who the real hunter was. He got her out of her work clothes and into his heart. This proves how beloved this character is and how well he deserves respect. He is a true gentleman. Not really a surprise, being Spider-Man doesn't just attract the ladies, but also all kinds of animals in the jungle. Rhino didn't waste any time, going headfirst into Uncanny Spider-Man issue number 2. But to be truly Spider-Man, he needs an enemy in green, and that's where Vulture swoops in. Unfortunately, even Spider-Man's friends may turn against him, and so does Kurt's, because Orchis infected and used his X-Men friends against him, Feral, Cloak, and Dagger. Here are some head swaps using the 3 heads included in the 2019 Wendigo Build-A-Figure Wave. A while ago, the X-Men 97 head was so loose, but for the Wendigo Build-A-Figure Wave heads, they're so tight. Chris Claremont mentions he plants seeds in his story. One of those seeds was Nightcrawler's origin back in the 80s, but in X-Men Blue Origins 2023, it was made official. Kurt's biological parents are Mystique and Destiny. Just like Kurt, my reaction was, how is that even possible? Apparently, Mystique's power is almost godlike. She isn't limited to changing her appearance. She can change at the cellular level, hormones and ribosomes included. So, Raven did make Irene pregnant. If you're wondering why Kurt still has those demon-like features that resemble Azazel, the comics explain that Mystique borrowed traits from countless flesh she touched, which includes Azazel. The man was used. She did this to hide Kurt's true origin. All of this heavy revelation is made possible by the Hopesword, which I discussed earlier. To imagine Kurt completely deprived of his spark, which did happen in X-Men Before the Fall, Sons of X number 1, you can use the Uncanny X-Force Nightcrawler heads. I know it doesn't have the horns and the goatee, but it will do for now. The Wendigo head will do also. In the comic books, Legion helped Nightcrawler get his spark or soul back. Nightcrawler is one of my favorite X-Men because of who he is, not limited to his powers. Maybe that is the reason why my Uncanny X-Force Nightcrawler review has a deep lore like this. Hope you check that one out after this. The new Marvel Legends Uncanny Spider-Man stands 15 centimeters or 5.9 inches tall. According to the Jim Lee X-Men trading cards of the 90s, Kurt is 5 feet 9 inches tall, making this figure spot on in terms of the 6-inch scale of Hasbro Marvel Legends. Uncanny Spider-Man next to the evolution of the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Buck. Wave 1 Spider-Man 2099, Wave 1 Retro Spider-Man, Renew Your Vow Spider-Man, and the newest Spider-Man Buck, the Maximum Series Spider-Man. Here is Uncanny Spider-Man next to his classic circus-style outfits, 2019 Wendigo Build-A-Figure Wave Nightcrawler, and the 2024 X-Men 97 Nightcrawler. Uncanny Spider-Man next to different shapes and sizes of male Marvel Legends mold. X-Men 97 Wolverine, which is a short male buck, Cyclops, which is a regular size buck, Sunspot for a teenage buck, and taller male Cable. Kurt is charming and surely irresistible besides X-Men ladies. Emma Frost, Jean Grey, Rogue, and Jubilee, all X-Men 97 versions. Different sizes of Marvel Legends female, a pair of Miss Marvels, the authentic Warbird, and the impostor Dark Avengers Miss Marvel, Marvel Unlimited exclusive Spider-Woman, and Into the Spider-Verse Spider-Gwen. The House of Dark Home, as explained a while ago in detail. Kurt's parents Mystique and Destiny, non-biological sister Rogue, and his X-Men sister Magic. Marvel Legends Gamerverse X-Men characters Psylocke, Wolverine, Cable, and Marrow. Arcade-style action figures by Jada Toys, Ryu, Dalsim, exclusive Player 2 Kami, and Vega. 1/12 scale Medicom Toy Mapex X-Men figures, Cyclops, Gambit, Wolverine, and Psylocke. Figures from different toy lines, SH Figuarts Chainsaw Man, Snail Shell Eileen, which I reviewed recently, X-Ray Studio Gold Hilder, and as always, Darna by Halimao Sculptures and Loose Collector. 6-inch scale versus 7-inch scale size comparison, Hasbro Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary Hulk, and the 7-inch scale Diamond Select Toys Marvel Select Immortal Hulk or the Rampaging Hulk. For packaging, Uncanny Spider-Man comes in the modern Spider-Man retro packaging design. Top is the new Spider-Man logo. Side is art of Kurt Wagner, the Uncanny Spider-Man. Back is a promo shot of the figure holding a white sword. Short read up. Pause it right now if you want to have a read. The other figures in this Spider-Man retro wave. Warning legalities and the barcode. For articulation, Nightcrawler's head can move from side to side. He can look up and look down with a neck hinge. His arms can extend that far. He has a butterfly joint that allows him to move his arms to the back. Do a full 360 right here, bicep swivel, double jointed finless elbows, wrists can swivel, can hinge forward and back. Nightcrawler can crunch forward, crunch back, waist swivel, can do a split, upper thigh swivel, double jointed pinless knees, can kick far back, kick forward, no boot cut, feet can hinge forward and back and has an ankle rocker, you can swivel his tail. So why is this piece of lifeless plastic disrespectful to the character of Kurt Wagner? I've explained that in full detail during the review, backed up by the lore and specific comic book issues. Sometimes Hasbro's generic approach is acceptable or at least understandable, but for me, this release proves they didn't care enough to actually know the hero behind the mask. Despite that, this figure is a must-have for Nightcrawler fans. Let's face it, will we ever see another Uncanny Spider-Man figure from anywhere else? Probably not, and if you're a Spider-Man collector who needs every variant from across the Spider-Verse, I'm sure this is already on your list. Speaking of lists, you definitely need to check out my Spider-Man Marvel Legends playlist. The link is at the top right corner of your screen. Hope you check it out. Thank you for watching. If you found this review helpful or entertaining, please hit that hype button. Please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and share this review with our fellow collectors. Hope to hear from you in the comments as well. I'll see you in the next one.